Let's open our Bible to Ecclesiastes chapter 4. Ecclesiastes chapter 4, from verse 6 to verse 12. Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 6 to verse 12. Pengkhotbah pasal yang keempat, ayat 6 sampai 12. I purposely would like to read from verse 6. There's a purpose. Don't worry, tunggu tanggal mainnya. Okay, just wait for why I'm reading from there. So let me read for you. This is Ecclesiastes 4, 6 to 12. Better is a handful of quietness than 2 hands full of toil and a striving after wind. Again I saw vanity under the sun. One person who has no other, either son or brother, yet there is no end to all his toil, and his eyes are never satisfied with riches, so that he never asks, for whom am I toiling and depriving myself of pleasure? This also is vanity and an unhappy business. 2 are better than 1, because they have a good reward for their toil. For if they fall, one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him who is alone when he falls, and has not another to lift him up. Again, if 2 lie together, they keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? And though a man might prevail against one who is alone, 2 will withstand him. A 3-fold cord is not quickly broken. This is the word of God. Have you ever get in trouble for trying to help someone? Pernah nggak Bapak Ibu mencoba membantu orang terus kena masalah? Trying to help, and then you get in trouble. And you just say, I'm sorry, but I'm just trying to help, right? Maybe your friend is having money problem, and then suddenly, secretly, trying to be as discreet as possible, you gave him a bit of what you have, and then your friend got upset, right? Emangnya aku nggak bisa bayar sendiri? Got upset. You think I can't pay? You think I can't? You think I need your money, right? Or maybe parents who want to help their children thrive, and they took care of everything. They're trying to help, right? But it's not always helpful. Have you ever tried in that kind of situation before? One time, I'm trying to help, my friend, he was finishing his meal, right? It was a cake, and it was so full of calorie, right? It's so fattening, right? So I helped him to finish the cake. Because I'm sharing the calorie, you see? Right? I'm sharing so that he won't get, right? So I'm trying to help, but then he got upset. Hey, that's my cake. Right? Sometimes we're trying to help, people got upset, right? And trying to help people, but does that mean that we stop helping? Of course not, right? Of course not. We all need help. We all need assistance. We all need, and we can be better friends. Today, that's what we're going to learn. Our text will focus on verse 9 to 12. Our text is talking about the importance of friendship, the importance of being together. Now I know for those who've been coming faithfully Sunday after Sunday, this might sound very familiar because we've been repeating almost the same topic, right? About community, about loving others. But I believe if the theme is similar, God must have not finished trying to tell you something, right? There must be a purpose why this theme keep on repeating. So, but before we go into verse 9 to 12, what the Ecclesiastes is doing is actually he's making a contrast, okay? He's making a contrast between 3 ways to live, okay? Now the first way to live is described on verse 7 to verse 8, okay? Verse 7 to verse 8, you meet this person, okay? A person who has no other, who has no friends, basically, and he's rich, successful, he has everything that he needs. Okay, so verse 7 to verse 8, imagine someone who has a great job, okay? Someone who works long hours. He might be a self-made man, successful CEO, a well-known artist, celebrity, he is or she is able to, whatever she touches becomes gold, that kind of person, right? You always envy them, but can never be like them, but then this person, relationship come and go, it's okay, change girlfriend, change boyfriend, change wife, change husband. It's just, life is good, they have all the house, the money, the vacation, pretty much they can do and buy and have whatever they want. Life is good for these people. They're successful, they're rich. And yet, this kind of life that we want, right? Life that's kind of, wow, I want that life. But there's a problem with this lifestyle. The problem, according to this text, is this person has no other. Actually, in Hebrew, it says, there is a person and he has no second. Ada orang yang dia nggak ada yang kedua. He has no second. He has no friends. He has no son, no brother. In the ancient lifestyle for men, those are the two closest relationships. A guy, the closest relationship is with his colleagues, friends, yang setara, same generation, and his second closest will be with his son. Okay, the next generation. Now, this person, rich and successful, he has no close relationships at all. All he has is his career and his money. And Ecclesiastes said, this type of life is not worth it, he said. It's not worth it because you will never be satisfied. For whom am I toiling and depriving myself of pleasure? It's just not worth it. You will end up enslaved to your work, never really satisfied, and you'll have no one to share it with. Just imagine going to vacation, all those cool places. I don't know where's your favorite destination in the world, but then you spend it by yourself. Imagine that. Beautiful places, but alone, right? That's not a way to live, right? Now, maybe some of you look at this guy, this first lifestyle, and see, that doesn't sound like me. Maybe because you haven't been as successful. But anyway, but at least you can get this longing, right? The stuff that we think will make us happy ultimately doesn't. Have you ever felt that? You said to yourself, if only I have that, I'll be happy. And then when you get that, kok biasa-biasa ya? When you get that, that's it, right? Sometimes what we want, after we get it, feels empty. That's the kind of lifestyle that the preacher or the writer of this book is trying to tell us. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to chase after, to be enslaved by your work, by your career. But there is a second lifestyle. If the first lifestyle, you see a person who is striving for career or financial excellence, okay? You have a second man, or a second figure in verse 13 to verse 16, okay? I'm not going to go all those things, but here you meet with an old king, okay? You've got an old king, but he is not wise, okay? He is old, he has power, he has influence, he might be popular, but he never listens to anybody. Have you ever met a person who's like always at the top, but he always makes the single decision and everybody got to listen to him? Right? He says, okay, all the team says A, but once he says B, change to B. That kind of thing, right? This is that type of person. This is the second lifestyle that's trying to be portrayed in this text. You can be someone who finds popularity, trying to achieve position in life. And yet, even here, Ecclesiastes says, it's not worth it. This is also vanity. This is also vanity. Now, these two lifestyles, okay? Number one, a person who chases after richness, or a person who chases after successful life, and a person who chases after popularity or position. will be contrasted later on with a person who has deep friendship. But if I can summarize what is this, the context is something like this. For these two lifestyles, the biggest contrast is simply this. For these two lifestyles, the successful man and the popular king, okay, or the powerful king, I might say, for them, life is about competition, right? Every man for himself. Dunia itu ajang kompetisi. One time I went to a seminar, and one of the young couples asked the presenter, "Hey, ma'am, we have a kid. He is very competitive, but we are Christians, and we are afraid that if he gets too competitive, he gets too ambitious, he's not very Christian." You know, one of those things. Jangan kalau berkompetisi lah, gitu ya. Like, what should we do? Should we tell him not to be so competitive because it's not very Christian? But how? We need him to be competitive in this difficult world, right? So what kind of advice, what kind of upbringing should we choose? Very competitive, but if he's too competitive, then he would cheat and don't care about people. Just all he can think about is winning, right? So what should we do? A good question, right? A parenting question. So obviously, I just wonder, okay, I don't know how to answer that. So let's hear what the presenter said, and then she said something like this, "Ma'am, or Bu, gitu ya, ma'am, don't teach your kid to be competitive. Teach your kid to be collaborative. Jangan diajari berkompetisi, diajari berkolaborasi." Very, very wise statement. Yeah, sadly, it doesn't come from me. But anyway, what she's saying is, teach him or her not to beat others, but to beat himself. You know, like don't. Your enemy is not others. Your enemy is yourself. Be better than who you are. Sometimes these two lifestyles, if we can go back to Ecclesiastes, these two lifestyles of being successful and being popular, it's like a lifestyle that wants to beat others. I compete in order to win, to defeat you, right? Now I want to say that competition is not by itself wrong. Healthy competition is good, yeah? It makes you more productive, more creative. One time in one of my sermons, I told you about the role of rivalry, the power of two. You've got Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. You've got Picasso and Henri Matisse, right? You've got people who's spurring and urging each other to grow and grow and grow. Without healthy competition, we might not see Apple computer and things like that. But here's the problem. The problem comes when competition becomes our meaning, our value. When we tie our identity to our value, our worth, our meaning. See? And we forgot about others. All we think about just win, and how to beat others. I remember, just look at games, a child game. When I was young, I used to play hide and seek. I mean, it's kind of interesting, right? In the old games, child's game, what do you call it, game? Permainan, apa ya? Permainan, yeah? The old game is you need someone else to play the game, right? I mean, hide and seek. Can you imagine? I hide, but nobody seeks me. That'll be funny, right? Saya sembunyi, gak ada yang nyariin gitu ya. Or I seek, but nobody hides. It's kind of funny, right? What else? I used to play. This is embarrassing, but it's okay. I used to play lompat tali, jumping ropes. Yeah, I used to play that. Imagine nobody's doing this, and I'm just jumping on my own. That'll be funny, right? I mean, and when I was small, most of games I have to involve other people. That means the advantage of all game is you need other people so that you can learn how to lose. Right? If you have other people, then sometimes you lose, sometimes you win. Losing is just part of life. Failing is okay. Sometimes you fail, but then you get back up. But then I noticed modern game, as I was going to high school, and suddenly we don't do hide and seek, we do this, right? We play with our console. And I remember, I tried to play. I cannot win. So what did I do? Put in the cheat code. Right? Just use the cheat, and then everything will be okay. I don't learn how to fail. I don't need others to play. I can play by myself. I began to develop this mindset that I can do life on my own. I don't need others. If there is an obstacle, I can just cheat. I can just take the shortcut. I don't need the assistance of the help of others. Our day and age is a day of competition, right? Every man for himself. If we have someone, sometimes we may involve someone simply to make use of him or her, not to love, accept, and guide. But the fact and the reality is, you don't thrive when you are alone. You are not safe when you are alone. You are not as comfortable or happy as you are alone. But we know, right? We want to have a community. We want to have someone we lean on, like that song, Lean on Me, right? I like that song. Lean on Me. How does that begin? But anyway, you can check it out later. Lean on Me. Sometimes it is our selfish and sinful nature to be better than anyone, to be superior than anyone, that stops us from making that friendship, from having that togetherness. And so, now we are ready to go to verse 9. So after contrasting these two lifestyles, saying that, you know what, life is not a competition. This kind of life, it might be fun, it might be full of adrenaline, you might achieve a lot, but at the end, you're not satisfied. At the end, you'll be someone who is empty, competitive, just trying to hustle people. And that's not the real way to live. I'm going to show you the real way to live. Life not based on career, not based on popularity, not based on position, but a life based on built upon relationships. And that's verse 9. Let's go. Okay? Verse 9. Okay. Verse 9 said something. He said, 2 are better than 1 because they have a good reward for their toil. It's quite interesting. I like to contrast. If you remember, I was reading from verse 6. Yeah? Verse 6 is a bit the opposite of verse 9. Because verse 6 says, better is a handful of quietness than 2 hands full of toil. It's contradictory. In verse 6 it says, 2 is not good. 2 hands of toil is not good. And here in verse 9 it says, no, 2 is better than 1. What's going on? It's a very simple explanation, because verse 6 goes with verse 7 and verse 8. What the preacher, that's what I would call the writer of Ecclesiastes, okay? The preacher, what he's saying is this: when it comes to money, when it comes to possession, more is not better. Setuju nggak sih? Do you agree with that? Sometimes with money, more is not better. Say you buy a Ferrari. Wow, everybody looks, wow, it's a Ferrari. And what happened when your Ferrari got stuck? Got stuck in traffic, or got stuck in a bad thunderstorm. Of course, you have to pay a lot, right? More money means, well, you have to have more resource to maintain all of that. More money is not necessarily better. More possession is not always necessarily better. You go out for a holiday. You leave your house for a month. You leave all your precious possessions behind, right? Who knows what's going to happen? Awkward gitu. But if you have nothing, you don't worry as much, right? So more possession, more money is not better. But the contrast is the contrast. However, verse 9, 2 are better than 1 because they have a good reward for their toil. It's saying this: when it comes to money, when it comes to material possession, more is not better. But when it comes to human relationships, when it comes to friendships, when it comes to community, more is always better. Nangkap Bapak Ibu ya? So, money not always better. You have more demand, more expectations, all of that. But more friends, always good. Always good. Why? They have a good reward for their toil. And it means when you face life, when you do it together, you can have more results, can enjoy more. Okay? Now, usually this text, two are better than one, and then you have that warm. And verse 11, you got keep warm, and then 3, 4 chord. Usually, it's talking about what marriage, right? Sometimes I often encountered this verse being preached at wedding, right? Oh, 2 is better than 1, right? 1 is not good. You have to have someone. The joke is, you know, I'm sorry, this is Indonesian. Tergandeng aja ada gandengan, gitu kan ya. So but here it's not talking about romantic relationships. The language here is economic. This is business partners. Okay, this is perhaps a business venture together. Okay, because when you have two, when you have someone at your side, you have good reward for their toil, more results, and you can enjoy more. Right? If you have more people to share, you can enjoy more. I mean, just think about it. Just think about after, you know, have you ever do it like this? You went to a new place, a new eating place, right? You enjoy the food, let's say rujak, whatever. Let's say you enjoy barbecue, right? Let's say barbecue. And then, wow, this is so good, I'm so happy, right? The barbecue tastes wonderful, right? It's so wonderful. But then your happiness is not full, just 50% full. Why? Because you haven't posted online. Suddenly, Insta story, Facebook, Instagram, right? All of that, and your friends start commenting, hey, kamu di mana? Where are you? Looks good. Where are you? Wow, suddenly your joy boosts, right? It's interesting, right? When you share your joy gets doubled. See? So when you have help, when you are happy, you got that shared happiness is. You have a moral boost as well. You have a boost in happiness as well. But here, the preacher gives us 3 illustrations why you need help, why this togetherness is important. Okay, so we'll look at them one by one. Verse 10 says like this: For if they fall, one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him who is alone when he falls and has not another to lift him up. So why is it important that we have help, that we have friends, that we are together? Number 1 is because we can have help. That's the key word, okay? Help. The context here is about traveling. Okay, traveling usually people would go in the Middle East, Near East time. When you travel, it can get late at night, right? And obviously at that time you have no LED lights. I mean, you have no apa tuh center? What is that? Torchlight. Flashlight. That's so arcade. Okay, flashlight. You have no flashlight, but you have no help because it's dark and you're yourself. So it's good to have friends to kind of like, you know, if you go to rough terrain, you go to rough edges of the mountain, like one of those movies when you have to travel up there and then wow, suddenly thunderstorm, rainstorm, and wow, so you got a ravine downstairs. You got things. So you have your friend. You can have someone to kind of hold you together, right? Help you when things go wrong. And also in those times, sometimes you also have traps on the ground, jebakan. Usually it's for animals. Okay? So animal trap will be lying around. Imagine if you walk to one of those traps, usually it's like a hole, like a trap hole. So you don't be careful, just trap inside a big hole. So what happened then? What would you do if you are alone? But you're not alone. The idea is you have someone to lift you up. So that's number 1. That's the first benefit of why we need others, because we have help. Okay? Help in the community. Number 2. Again, if 2 lie together, they keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? Now, if you just take this verse by its own and you put it up at your home, it sounds weird, right? At warm, 2 lie together? That sounds a bit, embarrassing, right? What's going on there, right? But here, some some interpretations, especially the Jewish one, said that, you know what, this one refers to marriage couple, but it's not. Okay, it's not. This is again probably talking about travel that took place in the ancient Middle East. So again, let's go back to that first image. Okay, you got two people traveling from town A to town B, right? In those days, you don't have a car, you don't have a bicycle, you don't have Gojek, right? So you might not get to your place in time, right? It's because it's far, you might not get to your destination in time, and you might not encounter an inn. Nggak ketemu tempat penginapan, gitu ya. You might not encounter a place to stay. So what do? Well, you have no choice but to sleep outside. You have to sleep outside, and that's what happened to Jacob. It's the story of Jacob fleeing from Esau, and he was sleeping outside with his cloak. Yeah. So it's quite a common occurrence in the ancient Middle East. They would have to sometimes force to stay overnight in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the jungle or the desert. And that can get very, very cold. Have you ever been in a place, it's not cold, but perhaps the wind is icy, you know what I'm talking about, right? This is not cold, but once the wind blows, there's like a dagger to your heart. It's just an icy cold wind, things like that. And obviously at that time, I would imagine they haven't found cool jackets like what I have now. They haven't had those thick jacket, right? Probably they don't have a winter boots, right? And all those nice words. No, they don't have that. All they have, most probably, just a single cloak. Yang mereka punya biasanya cuman jubah, ya, cloak, robes, okay, robes or cloak, jubah, and so they would sleep outdoors at night. And on the cold nights, a single cloak will not be enough. And the ancient Middle East folks, and don't get freaked out by this, they are used to sleep together while hugging, I guess, cuddling, to share body. Because that's the way they survive. So this is the second thing that we can get from having friends or community. You have comfort. Okay? In the middle of the difficulties of life, the coldness of life. Right? Sometimes the world can be very cold. Yeah? People don't care. People don't bother to know. People just come and go. They don't listen. It can be very cold. Especially now with social media. If it's not trending, it's not worth it. But when you have true friends, you have comfort, you have warmth. Have you ever felt that? Right? As long as I'm with him, or as long as I'm plugged into that community, I know I'm not alone. And then finally, the third illustration. When you travel, verse 12, and though a man might prevail against one who is alone, two will withstand him. Again, imagine the same scenario, okay? At night, you're traveling. Now, you will have to worry about many things, right? Road condition, bad weather, cold night, tracks on the ground, ravines, things like that. But more importantly, you will have to worry also about robbers, right? Thieves, like the story in the parable of the Good Samaritan. Remember that? Right? There's a guy who's going from Jerusalem to Jericho, and then in the middle he got beat up almost to the point of death by robbers. That's what happened. So here, the preacher said, you know what? If there's two of you, a robber or a thief, they will have to think twice before attacking you. Because you might withstand. You might stand on your ground, and who knows, perhaps the thief will even back down, right? It's the same advice. This is just a very wise advice even today, right? For like a young woman or a small child, you would probably have said in your life, hey, don't stay up until too late at night, right? And don't go into that area. If you have to go with your sister, go with your dad, go with your mom, right? Don't go there alone. Don't go there too late at night. It's kind of a similar scenario of what's happening here. The point is, you've got strength in numbers. So this is the third and final benefit of being together. Not only you have help, not only you have comfort, but you also have protection. Protection. And then and the last push, in order to make this point further, the teacher or the preacher says a threefold cord is not quickly broken. A very famous verse, usually often again quoted at weddings, threefold cords, the husband, the wife, and Jesus Christ. Right? That's usually what's happening at the threefold cord. It's like husband, wife, and Jesus Christ. And then someone have said, this is Jerome said, oh, threefold cord, the Trinity. That threefold cord, I know what that is. That's faith, hope, and love. I mean, that's kind of a creative way of looking at it, but that's wrong. Right? That's not reliable, okay? That's not the best way to explain that first. It's very simple, okay? The way to explain is very simple. That's why I mentioned about the context. Remember, the context, from verse 7 to verse 16, you've got what? You've got two people who is bad at living a solitary life, right? One guy. So one person living for popularity, for success is not worth it. So one is bad, right? One is bad. Two is better, right? Verse 9. That means if one is bad, two is better, how much more if you have three? You see what the preacher trying to convey to you? If you live by yourself, not good, not worth it. You will not be able to enjoy. You will not be able to go far because you don't have help, comfort, or protection. But if the two of you, you get a lot of benefits, man. But how much more if you have 3 or 4 or 5 and so on and so forth. Here, I believe does not refer, go find 3 best friends. No. You don't have to find your Peter, James, and John, okay? No. If you have more than 3, that's fine. If you have more than enough, please share it with me, okay? I need friends too. But the point is, it's good to have a support system. A social support system. You will find strength, happiness, peace, comfort, joy in life if you have 3 or more. So the preacher, the point of the passage, is telling us the importance of togetherness, the importance of friendships. That life is not meant to be dealt with by ourselves, depending on ourselves, leaving others behind, or worse, stomping on others, defeating others. The point of life is not competition, but collaboration. The point of life is not getting ahead and don't care of others. The point of life is going together with Jesus together. And so, what should we do about it? Let me close to you with practical implications. Number 1, be careful with the lie of meritocracy. Now you might wonder, whoa, how did you get to that point, right? Dari mana tuh poinnya? Kayaknya I thought there's no word meritocracy in this Ecclesiastes, obviously. Okay, there is no meritocracy in our passage today. I think the reason why I mentioned that is because of this. In verse 7 and verse, in the lifestyle that is trying to be contrasted with relationship. You have a lifestyle about competition, right? A lifestyle that is full of looking at people in a certain way. Looking at people like a rival, like an enemy. I need to defeat this person. Therefore, if you continue to look at other like your competition, you will not go far in relationships. That's my point. Because meritocracy, there's a couple of messages actually. A couple of messages, I'm not going to go far. I like this. I was listening to David Brooks. He's a social commentator. I'm not sure if he's Christian, but probably he is. He mentioned a couple of things about meritocracy, which I think we can learn. Okay, he says the message of meritocracy is you are what you accomplish. Kalau kamu itu sukses, kamu itu hebat. The myth, you can earn dignity by attaching yourself to prestigious brands. That sounds true, right? Sometimes people, why do you go to that church? Because that church is the latest, the hippest, the coolest. Why you go? Because I'm not cool, I'm not hip. That's why I want to be cool. I want to see. Sometimes, why do you buy that expensive bag? To show people that I can buy it. Somehow you gain dignity. You see, right? So we judge people by the covers, not by the content. Yeah, you can quote me on that. Okay? The emotion is what? Conditional love. If you help me, I will help you. Sometimes that's how we look at people, right? If you assist me, I'll assist you. You want, if you do this, then I'll do that. The anthropology of meritocracy, I like this. You are not a soul to be purified, but a set of skills to be maximized. Look at people not based on who he is, but based on what he can do. Tidak mengorangkan orang, tetapi memanfaatkan orang. You don't see others as human beings, you see others as human doings. And that's not good, right? Because we don't look at people, oh, he's a set of skills. I mean, can you imagine that? I will talk to you only about your skills, but I don't think about your family, your struggles. No. When you come to me, just talk about, your performance. Sometimes our relationships can be functional, yeah? Just at the level of functionality. We talk with people or our friends just about work, achievement. That's all. We don't go to the deep stuff. Family, struggles, pain, suffering, joy, hobbies. And finally, I like this. The evil of meritocracy is people who achieve a little more are actually worth more than others. It's very dangerous. Very dangerous. Just because he's rich, just because he's successful, just because he made it, doesn't mean that God loves him more than you. Sometimes we look at it like that, right? Oh, he achieved more, that means God must have loved him. He worth more than me. No. God loves us all the same. We might have different plans, different strengths, limitations. So when we get rid of this meritocracy, because if we look at Christian teachings, it goes against all of this. We look at people because they are made in the image of God. We don't look at people's performance. I befriend you not because you are rich or successful. I befriend you because you are loved by God. You are created by God. And I can show you unconditional love. Jesus teaches us, forgive and pray for your enemies, right? Forgive and pray for your enemies. That's like the total opposite of conditional love. That's not even unconditional love. That's like a transconditional love. Above unconditional. Why? Because our hearts has been filled with the love of God. So we can love others generously, even if they hurt us. Right? Do you want to love like that? And we look at people the same. We love people no matter their background, their achievement, their failures. And with that, we can create a sustainable friendship. Secondly, even if you think you don't need others, which you do, I know some of you might not be, I'm the type of person, let me just say to you, I'm the type of person who doesn't open up to everyone so easily. Okay, quite closed up. Okay, so you have to open me up. Sometimes I think, it's not that I don't need others, sometimes I think I can do it by myself. But the fact is, I need others. Even if you think you don't need others, have you ever thought the other way around? Others might need you. Others might need you. Some people out there, or even in here, your neighbors, the person on your right, the person on your left, they might need you. Your time, your resources, your compassion, your care, your availability. And sometimes sometimes to be kind is simple. Yeah, to be kind is simple. Just be there for others. There's a saying I really like. It goes like this: shared joy is double joy. Shared sorrow is half the sorrow. It's true. 75% of at least my experience in meeting with people, in counseling with people, many of them, not most, but many of them, I did not say a lot. I just sat there and listened, paid attention, trying to understand, trying to encourage, trying to comfort, trying to just end with prayer. That's it. And many have told me, thank you, you've listened. Just that. I feel that the world is getting colder and colder and colder. Others need you. You don't have to be a lot. Sometimes small can make a huge difference. There's a couple that I took to the airport one time. This couple said to me, you know what? So many years I've been here. No one has ever taken us to the airport. I was shocked. Really? So how did you go to the airport? By taxi. You are the first pastor who took us to the airport. And you know what? It's not even me. I brought a driver. So technically it's the driver, not me. I'm just there, because I was occupied with something else. But the point is something small that others might need. You might be the solution. And finally, because our time is running out, enjoy your friends. Don't take them for granted. Enjoy your friends. You know what? Friendship, being of help with others, is actually a beautiful kind of love, Now you got what? The Greeks have given us all those fancy words, right? You got what? Agape, eros, right? Storge, phileo, right? And friendship love is what? Phileo, yeah? Phileo. I used to be a soccer team back in high school called Phileo. It's a church soccer team. So we are Phileo. So we are friendship team. We won't beat you, but you can beat us. But no, Phileo. It's interesting because when you compare those loves with friendship love is unique. For instance, have you ever thought of this before? For instance, Phileo is more accessible than eros. Friendship love is more accessible than romantic love. Which means, basically it goes like this. It's a lot easier to ask someone, can I be your friend? Than to ask someone, can I be your wife or your husband, right? I mean, it's very hard to, boleh nggak jadi pacarku? No. You can ask someone to be your friend. It's so easy, right? So accessible, right? It's so accessible. But asking someone to be your spouse, your girlfriend, boyfriend, hold your hand when you're alone. No, I don't like you, right? But friendship is more accessible, right? Friendship is also a kind of love that is more rational, cool. Eros, very hot, right? You want the beloved. You can't think. You are blinded. You lose weight or you gain weight. It depends on you. It's like you're not controlled. In eros, in romantic love, you just want the beloved. Right? You just want him or her. That's romantic love. Storge, familiar love. Well, with family, you have no choice. It's your family. Right? So you can't love your family. You got no choice, right? But phileo, friendship love, it's rational. It's cool. You make a choice. See? Friendship love also is the least jealous of all loves. The least jealous. Imagine husband and wife having their. A couple who wants to. The guy's about to pop up the question, right? Will you marry me? And then he said they invite other people to come. Break down the privacy. It's weird, right? Couples, they want to be together, just the two of them. Dunia milik berdua. The world is just about us. When you invite the third person, a mess, right? That's not supposed to happen, right? But with friendship love, the more, the merrier, right? The least jealous. And finally, I like friendship love because with romantic love, you need an enormous amount of energy and commitment, right? You have to take care of your spouse, take care of your kids. you have to do this. You have to call them. You have to stay in touch. Tell me what's going on. How are you today? You have to keep in touch. If you don't call within the hour, you're gonna get in trouble, right? But with friends, you don't call a month. You don't call 6 months. You don't call even in 10 years. If it's a good friend, you won't lose him. Betul kan? Even after 10 years, you can just pick up the phone and say, hey, I'm this, your high school friend. Do you remember? Oh, yeah, hey, let's meet up. Become friends again. Imagine with your spouse, 10 years. Hi, how are you? Finally, I got a signal after 10 years. Divorce already. Friendship love is easy in a way, I'm just saying, this is not a short, it's not a side trip, I'm just saying that we have a wonderful God, right? That gives us various types of love. With our family, with our spouse, with our church, with our friends, with our colleagues. And sometimes we forget that. We forget to enjoy our friends. We take them for granted. And I pray that we don't become like that. But thank God that we have still one more friend. He calls us friend. God calls us friend. Jesus is the best friend. If others, they provide help, comfort, protection, Jesus provides his life. Jesus provides his blood. He sacrificed not just his time, not just his words, he sacrificed everything. Our friends, they are not perfect. They may leave you, betray you, forget you. But Jesus is the best friend. He will never leave you, nor forsake you. He will always be faithful, patient, and together with you. Friends come and go. Jesus never leaves. Friends will fail. Jesus will never fail. So, if we have the best friend ever, pray that we can also be friends for others. Yuk, jadi sobat sesama kita. Jadi sobat dunia. Let's be friends with others. They might need you. Let's be friends for the world. Think about what others need. If you are a member of the church, think about what you can do to help others, to comfort others, to protect others. Remember, the children, the teenagers, they need your examples. You might not know it, you might not realize it, but they look up to you, especially the parents, right? Protect them. Let's do it together. Because Jesus has been our best friend. Let's pray.